separating out the components, these kind of transformation does help. So in general, if I just write down a basic definition of Laplace transform, okay, I can say that we may have a function, and just like Fourier transform, we do have a transform of that equation. Okay, so let ft be a function of let's say of t, and we can actually define it defined for the range, let's say maybe from 0 to infinity. Okay, and there, if you actually want to find out what is the Laplace transform, the Laplace transform of ft, and it has got different notations, but I will just stick to one. I'll just give you the notations which can be used here. Okay. Different books may be using different kinds of notation, but most common notation is this: Laplace transform of ft. Do it this way, or sometimes it's also written as capital F of S. It will depend on what kind of book you're following. But then, if you give the definition correctly, it can be easily written. So how do you define it? You usually define it in this way. We take the Laplace transform of f of t, and this is nothing but f of s, okay, very capital. But I'm going to use this notation, okay, mostly. And this is also an integration. We're not going to derive this integration as we did for the Fourier series. So e to the power minus s of t, and then the function f of t dt. Okay, so we have this. So this is actually called the Laplace transform. So let's just take an example. Okay, we'll just take up an example, and you can just take up Laplace transform, and sometimes you will see that you will actually kind of need to remember these results. Some of the simple results, what you can do is you can just remember it, mentally. That should not be very difficult. But we will use it. Okay, we'll eventually see that you need to be a bit faster in remembering these results, so that when you actually have a sum where there is a combination of using these results, you can straight away put that result and then write down it's from Laplace transform. So it's basically a standard result, just like in integration we know what is ddx of integration of x or x to the power n in general, or maybe integration of cos x or sin x. Okay? So in a similar way we need to know this. Okay? So that's important. It's a result that we need to remember some of that. So when we say it is a Laplace transform of 1, we have to just take this up. We have to write down e to the power minus st and write down the function. So 1 means the function is 1. Okay, whatever is there in bracket, that's the function that we usually have. So you can just integrate this, and this is a standard integral, e to the power minus st divided by minus of s. You can take it from 0 to infinity. Okay? So when you do it, you are going to just get this 1 divided by minus of s. And this is e to the power infinity, so that's 0 minus e to the power 0 is 1. We'll always get it to be 1 by s. So these are the results which may be important. Okay, you need to just know this, and that's important. Okay, and we can actually derive some of these results, and some of these results maybe I will write down directly, and then maybe you can just remember it. Okay, again, that's important. So this way we are actually having different relations. Let me take one more. Maybe I can take Laplace transform of t to the power n. Okay, and if I take this will be 0 to infinity e to the power minus of st into t to the power n dt. Okay, so you have this relation, and this, if you just derive it, okay, you are eventually going to get it as, gamma of n plus 1, if you remember gamma function, and s to the power n plus 1. Okay, so gamma function and all is usually there in your undergraduation level, but anyway, let me just derive this relation of t to the power n. Okay, it's not going to be very complicated, and you're going to understand this. Okay, so let's just derive this, how we are actually going to get this. Okay, how? So that's my question now. So maybe I can just take it up. Okay, so if you take n of t to the power n, you can just simply write it down as 0 to infinity e to the power minus of st into t to the power n dn or dt. Sorry, right? Then just take it to be this, and then you can just integrate it. There are two parts here. One is this and one is this. And what I do is I take this as the first function and this is the second function. So I'll take it to be e to the power n, and then I'll integrate this. This is e to the power minus of st divided by minus of s. Okay, and then I can take it from 0 to infinity. Right. Then I will again take up the second one now, and here you have to take the second function. So you take d dt of t to the power n, which is nt to the power n minus 1, right? So what you can do is you can take it as to be nothing but n. Okay, one integration is already there. Okay, and nt to the power n minus 1. So nt to the power n minus 1. Okay, and then when you integrate the second function, that is e to the power minus st, you will get e to the power minus of st divided by s, right? So e to the power minus st divided by s. So you have this, and then you have got the dt. So you have got a function which is now n minus 1. So n, then I got n minus 1, and then if I keep on doing it, I'll also get n minus 2, right? And so on. So if we just take up this, okay, if we take up this.
Sir, I got it in another way.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, if you use the standard results, you can also do it in that way. Yeah.
Sir, if we put st equal to x, then we can.
Yeah. No, but if you put st is equal to x, what you will put for dt? What you will put for
So
dt?
for dt dx by s, then s,
What about
s
t
is the
now?
function.
T also will replace, right?
Yeah. Sir.
So if you replace t, do you get a function which is like solvable in 1 or 2 steps? Because this is basically nothing but which is continuing, okay, one after the other. So you have to check that. That's important. So what happens is if you just put an infinity there, it's 0, and then you just put the 0. This is 1, t to t is 0. So this first term will become 0. You don't actually use this term. So this first term will become 0. Okay. So there will be different ways. You can actually just do the replacement and do it, but ultimately, end of the day, you will see you will basically have two functions, and you have to just keep on expanding that. Okay, and that's the main thing here. And what happens is this one also is again a two function. So what I will do here is I will again do the same thing. I'll put n minus s here, and then I will this will remain as the first function. So this will remain as t to the power n minus 1, and the second function will be this. Second function will be this, means e to the power minus of st, okay, divided by s. Let me just put the s here itself, and then this will be 0 to infinity. And then again I have got the third one. So you basically are going to do this integration by parts, right? You have got two functions here. So again you will take a minus, and then minus st, so it will become plus st, and then again I will just repeat the steps. Okay, so maybe I can just write down the other terms outside the bracket. So you already have an n by s. You already have an n by s. So I'll write down n by s. Okay. And then e to the power st to the power n minus 1. ddt of t to the power n minus 1 is n into n minus 1. Repeat this step, right? This is something which we have it inside the bracket. And then 0 to infinity. And then we have got t to the power n minus 2. Okay. And then this will become e to the power minus st by s, right? So if you integrate this, this will be e to the power minus st divided by s, so this will become s square. So if you keep doing this, you are going to get so many terms. So if you just see here, this will be again the 0, right? It will again be 0 because there is a t here, and infinity with e to the power minus st will become 0. So everything becomes 0 here. So what we have ultimately now in this particular step is n into n minus 1. Okay, and then that term, right? And then what you do is you again integrate it, then you get n minus 1, n minus 2, okay? Let's say this is the third step, divided by, s cubed, let's say now, square will become cubed, and then the first term will always vanish, and then you'll have 0 to infinity, e to the power minus of st, e to the power n minus 3 now. What you're seeing is that something is getting repeated, and this is actually a way to solve it. And if you just do it, keep on doing this, keep on repeating this, what you're going to get is this. This is 1, 2, ultimately you'll get n also. Okay, so sorry, not n into n minus 1, so you'll basically are going to get, say this is 3, this is 2, that means n minus 1. So this is the last term you have. So that means if this is t to the power n, okay, t to the power 0, let's say 3 minus 3, this will be nothing but 3 minus 1, that is 2, right? So if you just keep on repeating this, the terms that you're going to get is n minus 1, and then n minus 2, and then finally you are going to get the values 3, 2, 1, right? So you can keep on doing this, and s to the power, this is 3, so this will be n, because I'm doing it n times, okay? And then finally when I have it, I'll have 0 to infinity, and then this is e to the power minus st, it survives every time. And then this is, n is 3, so if I take n is 3, I've taken n is 3, that's why this is n. So this will be t to the power 0, so this is dt. So this will become 1, and I'll just have e to the power minus st. So t to the power 0 is 1, right? So if I take that, right, if I take that here, I'm going to get my final result. So the final result is this. So you see, n minus 1, n minus 2 up to 1. So that means this is nothing but factorial n divided by s to the power n into, integrate this. This would be 1 divided by s. That's it, right? You have it here. So that means I can just write it down as factorial n divided by s to the power n plus 1. And n is always greater than 0. So that's my integration results, okay? And factorial n can be written as gamma of n plus 1, if you remember. The result we have n plus 1 s to the power n plus 1. So this is what we have, and this is how we derive it, okay? So the point here is that this is something which you might have derived before using different techniques, okay? So important part is you have to remember this. This is the Laplace transform of this t to the power n, and this actually might be important, okay? You need to remember this. So in a similar way, we can actually have different results. So there are different ways of solving, these are all, in a way we can say that these are all advanced integration, okay? So you have to basically just remember this. And sometimes that maybe you'll be given some results, okay? Let's say you have to find out L is equal to, let's say, t to the power 9. Okay? Laplace transform of t to the power 9, and this might be just a multiple choice question or maybe a 1 mark question. You really don't need to go and integrate it, okay? T to the power 9. There only where you're going to use the standard results, right? So that's why, as I always say, always make a list of whatever formulas you're going to use. So, this is also a formula that probably you need to just put in your list and then try to remember. Laplace transform does have a lot of formulas that you need to remember, okay? So that's important. So my n is 9 here, okay? So that means if I just take the Laplace transform of this, okay, I can just simply write it down as gamma of n plus 1. So 9 plus 1 divided by s to the power 9 plus 1. You have to just apply it, that's it, okay? So you have to remember this result. How we got the result? We also saw that 10 divided by s to the power 10. So if you know the value of s, you can just find out what is the integration value. Okay? So this is how you do it, okay? So please remember that standard results are important here, just like we use it in integration. Here we are basically going to use it in Laplace transform, right? So 3 by 2 would be nothing but 3 by 2 plus 1 gamma, and s to the power 3 by 2 plus 1. So that is 5 by 2. Okay? So in a similar way you can do it, okay? So, just like we actually talk about the Fourier transform and the Fourier inverse transform together, if we talk about Laplace inverse transform, in general what we can say is, we can write down this. Let's say someone asks me what is S inverse of maybe inverse is s. Okay, inverse is will have it here on the other side. So this is, let's say, 1 divided by s to the power 9. This may be an inverse function. So this would be nothing but, p to the power 8 divided by gamma 9. So you have to understand this. Okay, this is important. Why? Because you need know, if you take the Laplace transform of t to the power 8, you will get it to be gamma 9 divided by s to the power 9. So that means inverse, it means that I'm going to take it here and this is going to come here. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it's inverse, right? So 1 by s to the power 9. Okay. I should not say that I'm going to take this here. Okay. So this is a simple way to remember. You can try it. Okay. You will see that inverse function will be easy. You can write it down as 1 divided by s to the power 9 into factorial 9. Right? So what I can do is I can just replace it. So I'll take the s to the power 9 on this side, 1 divided by s to the power 9 on this side, and cross multiply this, and this will come here. Come here. So that way you will get the inverse transform of this. Okay. So just do the Laplace transform. Knowing the inverse transform should not be very difficult. Okay. It's more or less okay. So in a similar way, we can actually do a lot of problems, and maybe I will give you some results. 2 results I've already given you, and you can actually keep trying these things. Okay. E to the power 80. If you take the Laplace transform of this, you will get 1 divided by s minus a. Okay, so that means if I take the Laplace transform of 2t, I'm just going to get 1 divided by 2 minus a, or s, sorry, s minus 2, s minus 2, right? So in a way,
to the power 2t, sir.
yeah, 2t, sorry,
E
yeah,
to the power 2t.
e to the power, right, e to the power 2t, yeah. So then we can take L is equal to, let's say, e to the power minus 7t. So this is also easy. We're just going to take the value of a is minus 7. Okay. And that way, you should not be confused. You're going to be just s plus 7. You can do the integration and find it out. But then this is how Laplace transform works. Okay. If you know it, it should not be easy. Okay. And I want all of you to try this out. Okay. Solve, try if you see you're getting it. Okay. This is only for your confidence. Very important. Mathematical physics, I cannot really guarantee you that this is a question that comes. If you know the concept, you should be able to answer it. So we just take the inverse of 1 divided by s minus 3. That means I can just take the Laplace transform of e to the power minus e to the power 3t. Laplace transform of e to the power 3t is 1 divided by s minus 3. That means the inverse of 1 divided by s to the power minus 3, s minus 3 is e to the power 3t. Right? So if I know the first, then I can also take up the reverse one. Okay. One more, so that you are not confused. L inverse of, let's say, 1 divided s plus 10. So there is a plus here, plus here. That means if I take the Laplace transform of e to the power minus 10t. If I take the Laplace transform of e to the power minus 10t, then only I'll get 1 divided by s plus 10. So plus is the important. Plus 10. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So in this way, you have to just practice few examples. Those are important. Okay. And then even for the sine function and the cosine function also, we do have the Laplace transform. So L sine of 80. This one you have to remember. This is a bit tricky between sine and cos. A lot of people does get confused here. So is a divided by a square plus a square. So whatever is the coefficient of t will be here, and this will be a divided by a square plus a square. As we keep solving more problems, it will become a bit more easy. Okay, so this is the Laplace transform of sine of 80. You can actually do integration and check it. Maybe we'll do it. Okay, but if you take the inverse, it will be 1 divided by s square plus a square. Because Laplace transform inverse of s. So whatever has s here will be actually inside the inverse transform. So this numerator is a constant a, it's not a function of s. So that's why we've just written Laplace transform of s square by a here. If we take the inverse of that, it will be sine of 80 divided by a. Let me write down for cos so that we can actually just remember this clearly. If we take the Laplace transform of cos of 80, this will actually turn out to be s divided by s square plus a square. Okay, using standard integration. If you want to know how, you have to do the integration and you'll get it. Okay. And then this will take L inverse. Now Laplace inverse, when we take it, we have to take the function of the values wherever s is there. So this has got an s, this function has got an s. So that means if we take the Laplace inverse of s divided by s square plus a square, okay, this will be nothing but form of 80. So there is a big difference here. Please mark this, very important. Okay, we do get confused here. Okay, I get confused a lot of times. This is the difference between the sine and the cos function when we take the Laplace transform. So see here, sine, it is sine 80 by a. If we take the inverse of 1 by s square plus a square. For cos, it is cos 80, because we are taking Laplace inverse of s divided by s square plus a square. So whenever you have s on top, we are talking about the cos function. When you have just 1 on top, we are talking only about the sine function. Okay. So now if you put the value of a as 1 or maybe a as 1 here, okay, you will see if you took a as 1 here, you'll get it s square by s square, s divided by s square plus 1 square. But this will be 1 divided by s square plus 1 square. So even if you take the value of the sine t, you just replace according to the value of a and calculate it. So there should not be any kind of confusion here. Okay, so just make sure that you remember this. So if I just take up, let's say, the Laplace transform of sine of 4t, let's say, okay, this will be simply nothing but, it's a, okay, and this is 4, which is a. So this will be nothing but 4 divided by s square plus 60. Okay. So in a way you have to remember this. That means if I just want to take the inverse, I can just take the inverse of 1 divided by, maybe I'll just give a different example, s square plus 49, let's say. Okay, so this is 7 square and this is a 1 here, okay, and that means that it is 1 divided by s square plus s. We don't have anything here, it's 1. So that means this is nothing but a sine function, right? So this will be sine of 70. But the trick is there is an a at the bottom. What my a is 7. We cannot just write down a sine of 70. It should be 70 divided by 7. So in exam, if you are writing down this, I'm asking, let's say, an objective question, and you're straight away just writing down sine of 70, you'll get a 0 because divided by 7 is there. Okay, so please don't miss that out. That's important. So similarly, we are going to just take up, let's say, Laplace of cos of 40. If we do that, this would be s divided by s square plus 60. Okay, so this is an s there. Okay, so please remember this, that there is an s. So in a way, if we just take up, let's say, Laplace inverse of s divided by s square plus 49. The difference is there was only 1, there is an s here. So that means it will be a cos. This is cos of 70. You have to just remember it in that way. Okay, that's why it's important. Okay, there is one more function, I think if you just break it up, you'll easily be able to derive it also. Hyperbolic. Okay? So L sine of hyperbolic 80. So if you take the hyperbolic, sine is here, it is also sine. You're just going to replace the plus with a minus, that's it. Okay, that's how you can remember it easily. Of course, if you can just do it, you know that why we are getting this. Okay, so L inverse of 1 divided by, I'm not going to give you an example here, you will understand it from the previous ones, equal to sine of hyperbolic 80 divided by a. So it's the similar, okay, it's similar. The only thing is there is a minus and not a plus. So if it's a plus, it's actually 80. If it's a minus, it's hyperbolic. Okay, that's the Laplace transform. How to find it out? We have already seen 2 examples. So all of you can practice for each of these, results. And in exam, if I'm asking you that show that Laplace transform of sine hyperbolic HA is a by s square minus a square, these are actually standard integration which you should be able to do. So that's what I'm telling you this beforehand. Please practice it, find it on your own that you're getting the results, and then only so cos hyperbolic is this is minus sine will be there, and then I can just take the inverse and inverse would be s divided by s square minus a square, okay, is equal to cos of hyperbolic 80. So these are some of the results which are actually very important. Whenever you do Laplace transform, you are going to come across these problems. Okay. So this way we can actually solve so many problems in a Laplace transform. You have to just keep on doing the integrations. Okay. So maybe I can take some examples now quickly. So maybe we can just talk about a function as t. Okay. Then you can actually find out the Laplace transform of that. Right? So whenever you do, you have to be a bit fast. You know, the standard integration should not be a problem. So straight away you know that t would be nothing but the first function, right? It will be t e to the power minus of st divided by t. And then you can take it to be 0 to infinity. Okay. So then 0 to infinity. And then ddt of t is 1, so it is nothing but e to the power so st integration is there one time, dt is here. So the first term will basically become 0 plus we have 1 divided by s plus, because this minus minus becomes plus, and then you can just integrate it again, right? So this will become square, okay, and then there is a minus sign that comes out, okay. So I can take this minus sign here, and then e to the power minus of s. So this many steps is okay. You don't need to go to so much detail. Don't be too short, that's very important. Minus s square, this would be 0 minus 1. So ultimately I'm going to get 1 divided by s. So this, so you can actually take up to be a standard result. Laplace transform of there is some error right now. Laplace transform of just t. 1 divided by s. Okay, so to remember this, okay, it's important. That s actually comes from the power of e. The power of e will actually give you that s. So that's important. So please remember these terms, okay. So let me do one more. If I do the sine and the cos one, I think you can easily do it. Practice doing that, okay. Sine, cos, and you can do the hyperbolic one, and then the remaining one you can do, okay. So please do it. Sine of hyperbolic 80. That's the function, right? So Laplace transform of sine of hyperbolic 80, and then you can take 0 to infinity e to the power minus of st. Okay, and sine of hyperbolic, if you just do it, okay, just e to the power 80 minus e to the power minus of 80, okay, divided by 2. So divided by 2, so I'll just take this half outside. Okay, so that's it now. You can do it easy. You have to just know what is the form of the hyperbolic. I think that is important. Then we can just take e integration e to the power minus of st into e to the power 80 dt. Then minus integration of 0 to infinity e to the power minus st e to the power minus of 80 dt. It's all integration, standard integrations. So half, and then you can take this together. This is the same power added. So take t outside, it will be nothing but s minus a. Okay, you can take a minus s, and then if you just so it will be e to the power and a minus s into t. So a minus s, you take it out, and then e to the power minus of a minus s into t. Now we can take 0 to infinity, similarly minus, and then 1 divided by, this is minus s minus t, so minus s minus a, sorry, not t, e to the power minus s minus a into t dt. Sorry, integrated already, 0 to infinity. So you have it here, right? And then if you just put the results here, this is minus, you can take out a minus here also, and then this is t, so minus t 1 by infinity is 0 minus 1, right? This would be 0 minus 1. If you put the limit, this will also be 0 minus 1. If you put the limit, So that means if you just take this out, this will be half. So minus 1 is minus 1. So I can just take this to be 1 divided by s minus a. And then, okay. So this is 1 divided by n minus a. And then I can take a minus and 1 divided by, this is minus 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 comes out, s plus a. Then there is minus 1. We'll do plus. We'll just do it. It will be s plus a. It is half. And if we just take the LCM, this would be a minus b, a plus b. So this is s square minus s square. And then this will be s minus a LCM and minus s minus a. So s gets cancelled here. Okay. Did I do some mistake here? Yes, sorry. This is plus. Yeah. So a plus a. So 2 gets cancelled. So this is a divided by s square minus s.